Hi, Bonnie, Aaron's here. Now, I have something very, very important to tell you before I go. Please, whatever you do, don't go out there. Don't go out there. I'm looking forward to meeting you face to face.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode. All right, guys, jumping to the film review. We're kicking off December, the final month of 2025, with Brother Brian's pick. Brian, what'd you pick and why'd you pick it?
I picked the 2025 conclusion to the Conjuring series, The Last Rites. So I thought it was a really good conclusion. Like, I don't want to talk out of place, but in the main Conjuring series here, I think that I've liked 3, at least more than I think anyone else on here, but I'm not sure. But like I said before, it's like seeing your family again. Now I'm going to be honest. You'll probably laugh at me, but I'll own it. I watched this once and took notes, and I watched it in a hotel room by myself, and I had to sleep with the lights on. I'm not I've been very vocal about my fear of demonic focused movies on here, so has Dustin. But for some reason, the Conjuring series or Insidious for that matter has never bothered me. But I think it's how I watched it this time. I don't know, but it got me. It messed with me. Now, is it a perfect movie like 1 and 2? No. It's a little long in the tooth, but I'm fine with that because I feel like it gave closure to everything and it took the time to do so. So again, disclaimer, I don't know shit about shit when it comes to the real story or the real characters, nor do I really care. I just really look at these as just what I'm given in the movies. So none of that real life stuff affects my opinion at all in this franchise. And I don't think I've rated any of the main 4 movies here below an 8.5, and I'm not going to tonight either.
Oh, okay. You're higher than me, brother. Higher than me. Respectfully, of course. This is my second time watching the movie. I did see it in theaters. Me and Dustin did an instant reaction on it way back when. I will admit, I did enjoy the movie more this time just because I appreciated the Ed and Lorraine stuff so much. But that's also my issue. It's like this movie, and that's my biggest qualm, is like it doesn't like dive into the Smurl family like Brian mentioned, like in the first 2 movies, like we get invested with the Perrin family. We get invested with the Hodgkin family. To me, this just feels like kind of like a biopic of the Warrens, and you kind of throw some spooky shit in there. And to me, it just didn't flow well. I got some issues with it, but I love the Ed and Lorraine stuff and Judy and Tony stuff. I really appreciate Tony's character a lot. He's one of my favorite aspects of the film.
Same.
And the ending, the wedding thing, not historically accurate at all, but fan service. Got to love some good fan service every now and then.
Absolutely.
So I will say I did enjoy the movie more on my second watch, but it's still not part 2 level to me, or 1.
Yeah, I saw this one in the theater on September 4th of this year, and I liked it. And after I watched it and after I logged it on Letterboxd and we did our review, our instant reaction, I mean, I thought, am I tripping for liking it? Like, everyone was tearing this movie apart online. And my score was higher than what I was seeing from a lot of people. But then I rewatched it this time, and no, I stand by it. I like it. And also, like I told you, Nico, I think that the reason that you didn't like it as much is because, like you just said, the first two focus more on the families, and Ed and Lorraine come in and save the day. This one focuses more on Ed and Lorraine. So in doing that, I think that you have such an attachment for the first two that it kind of takes you out of it, because it's definitely not as good as those two anyway. And then when you shift it to also it's focusing more on Ed and Lorraine than the family, I think that plays into it a little bit for you. I could be mistaken, but I think that has something to do with it. And then I just think that this one, it just ties a good bow on the franchise. Hopefully. I say hopefully because, a dry cow is still going to get squeezed, get its udder squeezed. I think that they'll probably keep making these movies. They'll probably do prequels now with the people that they cast as young Ed and Lorraine. That's just my guess. But I hope they don't do that, because this was a good way to end it.
Let me just piggyback. Go ahead.
It's much better than part 3, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I gave part 3 like a 7.25 way back when, but that was just more out of like guilt. Like if I could retroactively re-rate it, it would not be that high. But I just want to piggyback off what you said about it not being as good as 1 and 2. That's one of my notes as well. I met Steve Coulter, Father Gordon, at a con back in August or in October. Super cool guy. He gave me his email. I'm gonna try and get him on the show. But I told him face to face, like, I really wish James Wan would have directed this movie, and he said the same thing. He's like, I like Michael Chavez. He's a great guy, but there's just something different about James Wan. It's not even like the attachment to Ed and Lorraine stuff. It's just like the way he can build tension. Like there's just no tension in the movie. Like the way the camera works and all that, just like leading up to scenes. And I really do not like the look of the demons either. I kind of criticize that a lot. Like the farmer, like I call the guy like Farmer Marilyn Manson. Like it doesn't do it for me. But yeah. So shout out Steve Coulter, Father Gordon. Going to try and get him on the show and talk to us about Insidious and the Conjuring franchise. And he had a role in Oppenheimer, so we can ask him about Christopher Nolan, by God.
Yeah. And it's funny, the axe murderer, or the farmer that you referred to, he did look like if Marilyn Manson and the main antagonist from Ghost of Mars had a baby, it'd be him.
Yeah, very true. Dustin, you excited to read the scene by scene for this 2-hour and 15-minute movie, brother?
Nope. But we'll do it anyway. Here we go. Lord, bear me strength. We open with a recording of Ed documenting a case from April 20th, 1964. 420. Solving a devil case on Devil's Lettuce Day. We move to the house where the story is being told, and Victoria tells the Warrens that she found her dad hanging, and then something changed. She felt like she was being watched, and it calls to her. The Warrens go to check it out, and we see that Lorraine is very pregnant. Great casting on the young Warrens here, particularly Ed. He looked just like a young Patrick Wilson to me. As Lorraine looks around, something calls to her, and she's drawn to a mirror. As she talks to it, we see the feet of someone hanging behind her, but it's not there when she turns around. She touches the mirror, and it cracks. Hey, you break it, you buy it, lady. Her reflection becomes demonic, and she sees a montage of surreal imagery and goes into labor. Ed hauls ass through the rain to the hospital, and I was concerned because those 60s models Mustangs, they were notoriously bad in the rain. So anyway, but they do make it. And Lorraine is taken into surgery. The baby has issues, and to make things worse, the power goes out. And Lorraine sees a demon hand creeping along the ceiling. Ed bursts into the room like the Kool-Aid Man, and Lorraine gives birth. But there's no sounds of crying. Lorraine demands that they give her her baby, and after the power of prayer, the baby starts crying. We get a montage of little Judy growing up through childhood, and we find out that she starts having horrible visions as a young girl. Lorraine teaches her a song to make them go away, and we cut to 1986, West Pittston, Pennsylvania. A working-class family is preparing for church where Heather will have her confirmation. Later at home, they're having family dinner where Heather's grandparents gave her a gift, the same mirror that Lorraine cracked 22 years prior. It doesn't waste time trying to mess with the family as it blows out the candle on the cake and then collapses the ceiling on Heather. 18 and a half minutes in, we get a crawl with our premise and the title card. We cut to the Warrens speaking at a college, but the students are more interested in talking about Ghostbusters than hearing about Annabelle, and the students begin leaving the lecture. What do you guys think of the open?
Well, I do think that those Mustangs were okay in CG rain. It's probably not real rain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a difference. So I'm honestly not totally locked in with the cold open here in the antique store. And listen, I know it may have been weird because of the Nun 2 lore, but do you think it would have been too much to try to get Taissa Farmiga to play young Lorraine? I mean, it's just Orion Smith, I agree with you, did such a fantastic job with young Ed. But Madison Lawler, I'm sorry, I just didn't buy her there. Taissa, I think, would have been perfect. But just my opinion. I might have messed up the whole timeline thing or whatever. But
Tice is perfect in general, so.
I mean, I agree, but she would have been really perfect there. Very standout shot to me with the feet dangling behind Lorraine as she's up in the attic. Eli Bourne was the cinematographer. He was last on our show for Companion. I think he did a fantastic job in this movie. There's an amazing one shot in this group of scenes when we get introduced to the Smurl family, and you know I love me a one shot. Now, all of this miscarriage stuff and Judy being a stillborn, God, that hit me so hard. Like, I admittedly got emotional watching it. I'm not going to mince words there, having dealt with so much of that in my life. And I haven't seen the other three films as much as you guys. So part of me was like, oh my God, is the daughter that we've seen before a different daughter? Like, does this baby not survive? So it got me. And when Judy took those breaths, I, for real, had tears running down my face. And after that, I needed that montage of like through the years. And I loved seeing Patrick and Vera again. You know, I needed that come down, and it worked so well for me. Like I said in my open, and like I've said on many sequels to franchises that I love, I think it's great to see my family again. Now, here's a major nitpick of mine. It didn't feel like the 80s to me. If not for some of their big glasses or little things, it just felt like it could have been any decade. And so I may be alone on that, but I feel like they had to almost hit us over the head with some of the 80s references like, hey, Ghostbusters, this is the 80s, which I love the reference, by the way. But there's just this general aesthetic that movies just hit when they get the 80s right. And to me, this balked on it a little bit.
Well, and if anyone would know what the 80s were like, it is you.
Right. I was a whole 7 years, man. I was in the
37 years
80s,
old in 1986.
which is the majority of the 80s. So appreciate that. Thank you for that. Lastly, just a lot going on in this opening group to talk about. Overall, I get the key theme here. You know, it's just kind of going to be shielding Judy from her gift, really just protecting her. And again, as a parent, I can relate a lot to that. They know how dangerous their work is and how it almost took her once. So, I mean, I'm fully on board where the movie is heading and with the whole, general theme.
Yeah, before I get started, I just want to say I appreciated your experiences, Brian. I mean, I'm not glad you went through them, but I appreciated hearing about them because I know you have been through a lot with, the pregnancy stuff and all that with your wife. So appreciate that that part of what your notes. Starting off, I do love the Atomic Monster intro with a voiceover from Ed Warren. I was locked in because we're all Patrick Wilson fans, Ed Warren fans. Finding a loved one dead hanging inside your home is a level of traumatized that I don't know I'd ever recover from. As Dustin and I mentioned back in our instant, like you mentioned this already, Dustin, the actors used to portray young Ed and Lorraine, I think they're spot on personally, especially Ed's actor, Orion Smith. I thought he looked just like him. Haunted Mirror movie, I know seeing this got Mike all fired up. He's a huge Oculus fan, so I'm sure he loved it. The hanging feet, I mentioned kind of in the beginning that the tension wasn't that great. This one was, I will admit that. The hanging feet behind Lorraine as she looks in the mirror, I thought was an effective use of tension and scares. Going into labor during that haunted house tour with Lorraine doesn't seem ideal. That sounds like a nightmare. But for real, shout out to all the ladies out there. Giving birth looks horrific, and I applaud women. They're heroes for, birthing children. That's amazing. This hospital setting is spooky as hell. No lights, giving birth, demonic encounter a little bit ago. This seems like a horrible night, guys. Wonderful moment as the baby comes back to life after Lorraine cries out to God. I'm not forcing my beliefs on anyone, but I do believe life and death being in the tongue, so speak good things, right? As an Ed and Lorraine Warren Conjuring universe fan, this montage of them with Judy I thought was very heartwarming to watch. I know Lorraine is thinking, well, darn, once Judy reveals, she's seeing scary things, she's like, fudge, like, I got to deal with this now. Shout out to the beautiful Vera Farmiga. End of my notes. Just kidding. Love seeing her on my screen, no matter how mid I might think a movie might be. I don't think this movie is mid anymore. It's not my favorite, but I do think it's good. We now meet the Smurl family, our family of the film. You know, I hate to admit it, but by far the least interesting case of the series, in my opinion. Not that they're bad, but the film just didn't focus on them enough, and it was more of a life story with the Warrens. I wish we would have invested with the Smurls a little bit more. Even though I'm not a huge fan of the family's case, I do like these family moments, like with the girls in the closet messing with mom's phone cord. I appreciated that. Dog starts barking immediately at the mirror. I've seen enough horror movies to know that's not good. This stuff with the Smurl family happened so fast. Not enough development so far, which is crazy considering the film is over 2 hours. Last thing I know Brian got super excited hearing about the Ghostbusters. I thought it was a pretty good opening, honestly.
I love it when you say, oh, fudge.
Hey, that's from A Christmas Story.
There you go. Nice.
Hey, first of all, before I get in this next set of scenes, I want to say that Nico does not speak for all of us, at least not for me. I would never call a woman a hero.
I knew you. Oh, I love it.
Kidding.
Hey, I got a question before you start reading, Dustin.
Yeah.
You guys being Conjuring more experts than I am. At that conference here at the end, you know, Ed mentions Annabelle, but he calls her Mullins. Like, isn't she Annabelle Higgins in the other movies?
Yeah, it's Annabelle Higgins.
Yeah, I didn't catch it when I watched it, but I did see that in the in some fun facts I was looking up. So I thought that was weird because after I read it, I was like, oh yeah, he did.
Is it wrong? So it is Higgins.
It has to be intentional. Like, I can't believe they would mess that up. But we get no explanation, so I don't know.
Maybe he's just getting old. Forgetful.
That is true.
I feel that.
What are we doing right now? Oh, anyway. Next set of scenes. The Warrens gather at a restaurant for a family dinner where Judy and Lorraine try to assure Ed that it wasn't that bad. And Ed tells Judy he didn't tell them they had quit because of his heart, because that's what an old man would say. Judy tells her parents she plans to bring her boyfriend Tony to Ed's birthday party. And as Ed orders dinner, Lorraine hears whispers, and Judy starts reciting the song Lorraine taught her as a kid. Everything seems calm again until Lorraine sees a green hand on Judy's shoulder and gasps. But they brush it off and continue with dinner. At the Smurl's house, Janet is doing some laundry when she hears someone whisper her name and sees a man's figure in the shadows of the basement. But it disappears when she turns on the light, and we just see John Wayne looking at us. Later, she's on the phone, and someone yanks the cord from the pantry. But when she turns on the light in there, nothing is there. Upstairs, one of the twin daughters is playing, and her baby doll sits up, starts levitating, and reveals itself to be an old demon woman behind it, which spooks her, understandably. At dinner, no one pays her much attention when she tries to tell the family. Later, Heather and Dawn are talking about the weird mirror, and Dawn is a real jerk to her sister. But she does suggest that they make a donation to the trash man tomorrow, and they take it to the curb. The trash men pick it up, and we see the mirror get smashed in the compactor, but then Dawn starts puking up blood and glass at breakfast. We cut to Ed, whose doctor implores that he cannot have another heart attack, and then it's party time. Judy rolls up with her boyfriend Tony, who's very nervous about meeting the Warrens. The party is packed with friends and colleagues of the Warrens, including Father Gordon, and we hear that Tony was a cop who's not a cop anymore. Tony approaches Brad, who's manning the grill, and learns about how Brad used to help the Warrens, and then Brad tells him to go grab a bun. What do you guys think?
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think that I disagree with Nico when it comes to cinematography because, I mean, even here, again, I talked about it in the first scene, but there's a fantastic 360 shot at the family dinner here around the table, and it felt very Wonder Years opening, if any of you guys remember that show, especially the opening.
Huge crush on Winnie when I was a kid.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. You were human. I mean, come on. And I haven't really talked about it, but the music, just the soundtrack in general, all throughout, it almost seems a little subdued. Fun fact, this is actually the first in the series to not be scored by Joseph Bishara. Instead, Benjamin Wallfish, who did Annabelle Creation, did this one. And I don't think it's a bad thing because, like here in this set of scenes, when the hand on Judy's shoulder at the diner, there was like no jump scare soundtrack prompt or anything. And that stood out to me. I liked it. And speaking of liking stuff, that pantry scene, pulling the cord back in on Janet, woo, I'm fucking leaving. I'm out. I was wondering why it felt like the Griswold house from Christmas Vacation with all these fucking people there. But it does make sense that if their parents lived with them, they wouldn't have anywhere else to go. So I kind of was like, oh, well, that makes a little bit of sense. But no, I mean, I'm living under a bridge or in a van down by the river after the pantry scene. So the rest would not even have happened to me personally. Again, another great shot. I thought in Heather and Dawn's room where you get that line, "What's weird?" And then it kind of fades her out of focus. And then in the mirror comes into focus with, I think it's Heather answering. I thought that was chef's kiss, again, in my opinion. And whoo, the glass and the throat stuff and her kind of being, I guess, connected to the mirror made me instantly think of 2016 Blair Witch with that stick breaking scene. You know what I'm talking about. Great movie. Nico agrees. And at about 36 minutes, when Tony and Judy pull up to the Warrens, he blocks the driveway when he parks. And the dad and me just went, come on, Tony. Damn. And I did laugh at the tie being a clip-on, too. I don't know. Ben Hardy, I think, just did such a good job. And we talked about it a little bit earlier with Tony, plus the writing of the character. I just really liked him a lot. I was really thinking, I like him too much. He might, oh, great, he's going to die. That's kind of what I was thinking first. So overall, we're about 40 minutes in here. I'm kind of ready to get the Warrens involved in the Smurls case, but I also understand why I need to feel more connected to Judy and even Tony. And again, I forgive a lot of pacing stuff in the last movie in a series. I mean, I really do. So I'm perfectly fine with more and more and more and more.
I would like to be personally connected to Judy.
I know.
I just want to clarify. I don't think the cinematography is bad. It's just not. I just don't think the scares and the tension was built up as good as James Wan could have done. That's just my personal opinion, though. That's just me. But anywho, I laughed at Ed asking who's Tony, then saying, "Oh, that Tony." I thought that was just great dad humor. Poor Vera. I know she's scared for her baby, and seeing the hand rub on her shoulder, that has to be, just so scary and terrifying for her. It's like, it's coming from my daughter now. I hate this. This is some good review talk here, but shout out lasagna. That's a great dish. It was one of the things that Ed regrets he can't eat. Janet dealing with some more spooky happenings in the basement. I got to feel bad for anyone named Janet in a Conjuring movie. It seems like you don't want to be named Janet in a Conjuring universe movie. How did the girls get to where they were when they just ran the opposite way without us hearing it? They run out the back door and back in through the front door, low key or something. Like, that scare for me in the closet with the phone cord, like, it didn't make sense. And like the way that the girls were running around, I didn't care for it. In person, this doll sitting up and floating in the air would have terrified me. But in the movie, like, it just didn't scare me. And the demon looked comically bad, like something out of Welcome to Derry, respectfully, of course. Babies are perverts. I don't know why, but that one single line of dialogue was really bad to me. Like, the rest between the sisters didn't bother me, but that one, I don't know, it just annoyed me. Honestly, good call trying to get rid of the mirror. It's ugly as hell. It was odd in the room, and like it's been spooky ever since you brought it in. This is one of the worst vomiting scenes ever here with Dawn. Good Lord, all that blood everywhere. Threw up all over Dad. Like, he just caught a stray, and I hate to see it for him. And I really wish we didn't transition right to Ed at the doctor's office after that scene. I just didn't. Like, it brought us down too fast. Like, go to the hospital with them first. I don't know. Ed and Lorraine in these movies, their relationship goes for real. Lovely scene, Ed hugging Lorraine as she bakes. Like, who wouldn't want that shit, right? Tony is a very fun addition to this movie. Going to go ahead and say that now. Like, he's one of my favorites. And shout out to my man, Steve Coulter, as Father Gordon. Met him in October, like I mentioned. He's a super cool guy. Like, one of the, and only $30 for a combo, autograph and picture. Shout out to him. Brad cooking burgers the way they should be cooked. I don't care what Dustin has to say about propane. Over an open fire on a charcoal grill. That's the way meat's supposed to get cooked. And Brad, low-key, he looks like a skinny Hopper from Stranger Things. I thought it was a pretty good set of scenes.
Man said, shout out lasagna. That made me laugh.
Dude, lasagna is
Garfield
good.
over here.
Lasagna is good. I just never heard it shouted
good.
out like that. That's funny.
Couple things here. Number one, the demons. I'm surprised no one has said it. Like, the look at the demons in this movie kind of reminded me of the mom from Evil Dead Rise. Like,
kind of.
Very similar. But then also, babies are perverts, and that line didn't bother me because, like, that to me sounds like how dumb teenagers talk. Like, they say things that just like for shock value almost. They don't really have any meaning behind what they're saying. But anyway,
take note. Dustin just defended a woman's dialogue. Progress.
No, I'm sure a man wrote that dialogue. But
Damn.
Carry on.
Anyway, my wayward son. Judy is checking out her old bedroom when Annabelle, not Annabelle, steroids, good God. Got some trebolone sandwiches over here. When Annabelle starts messing with her, so Judy recites her old song and makes her go away. Tony joins in and cheers her up a bit, and Judy tells him about the song. It turns into a mini makeout sesh, which Lorraine interrupts to tell Tony that Ed is having some guys in the garage. Way to cock block, Mom. Lorraine asked Judy if she's seeing things more often, but Judy downplays it, and they head to the garage. Tony and Ed play some ping-a-pong, which always makes me think of Borat. My hobbies include ping-a-pong. And when Judy goes to get another drink, Tony tells Ed and Lorraine his intentions to marry Judy. Don't blame him. Lorraine puts the ring on the ping-pong table like a dunce and gives Tony their blessing to the surprise of Ed. While they're talking, though, Judy returns and sees the ring. So Ed gives Tony a nod, and they're engaged. Yay. Congrats. Happy for you. After the party, Father Gordon tells the Warrens about some families who need their assistance, but Lorraine shuts it down. We cut to the Smurl house where they talk about what they're going to do. When Dawn yells at her dad, she has a voice that's very strong considering she has puked up glass earlier, so that bothered me. Later that night, Jack sees a demon at the foot of his bed and starts to strangle as he levitates off the bed. Downstairs, Heather watches her confirmation dinner video and sees a face appear right beside her as her candle is blown out. As if she wasn't freaked out enough, a maniac with an axe starts coming after her, and Janet wakes up to see Jack floating beside her. The next day, a news van pulls up to their house, and they're locally famous for all the wrong reasons. They even go on Larry King's show. And then Janet tells the local news outside of her house that 8 people have experienced this, and 8 people are not crazy.
Okay, so I'm kind of torn half and half on this set of scenes. Great scene to start out with here, I thought, with Judy in her old room. That shot of Annabelle going in and out of the darkness, Dustin. And in and out of the darkness in the rocking chair, I thought was absolutely phenomenal. The music, the build-up, everything was fantastic. And I love how it's just a normal that the chair is like still rocking afterwards. Like, okay. Now I have a feeling, and nothing more than that a lot of people may not like this whole garage scene with the ping pong, the proposal, but it just felt, I don't know, it felt heartwarming and so natural to me. Like I really needed this scene. A lot of people may see as filler, but it made me really like Tony. And I thought if this was a Ghostbusters movie, Tony would end up being the bad guy. And when I first saw this, I wrote down that I wish they'd been dating more than 6 months, but finding out the police story later on, I feel like that this all makes sense cohesively, and for lack of a better term, was very sweet. Now, back at the Smurl house, this is kind of where it goes downhill a little bit for me with the Smurl house of ghouls and goblins. I did have a few more little nitpicks. First of all, the girl at the end of the bed, it got me. It scared me. The jump scare, it got me. Now, Jack's sleep paralysis, from someone who's experienced sleep paralysis, this is exactly how it feels. The only difference is that I've never woken up hovering 6 feet above my bed, personally. That actually reminded me of Ghostbusters. Hovering 6 feet above her bed, barking, growling. Sorry. But my nitpick is a VCR scene. Like, it felt too forced. So, of the entire tape, you just watch the exact moment of the candle blowout scene. Okay. And then saw the face. I don't know. Like I said, it didn't work for me. And Nico, you mentioned this, but we got the same sort of stuff in with the top hat slender guy, the second one before. But Ghost Dad with the axe, I agree with you. It felt very cheesy too. Again, these things just work for me personally better when I don't see them like this necessarily.
Annabelle doll at the beginning, that scare does nothing for me. We're 40-ish minutes into the film, and I can tell James Wan didn't direct it, which he should have. That's one of my biggest qualms. I told Steve Coulter that to his face, and he kind of agreed, so shout out to him. The chemistry between Judy and Tony is very good, in my opinion. I do appreciate that Lorraine isn't harsh or judgy, catching the couple kissing. And this will blow our audience's mind, but I hate playing ping pong despite being Asian. I hope my kinfolk aren't too disappointed, but, shout out to my people. We are pretty good at it. The ping pong scene, I agree, Brian, is fun, and I hate seeing my guy Ed's heart struggling from it. Like, damn, all of our legends, they're taking them all from us. I think Tony's actor Ben Hardy does such a good job portraying the nervous son-in-law. I like the scene with him asking the parents for permission to marry their daughter, even if the ring is tiny, and I love the story he tells why he bought it later. Like, it really gets to me. Lorraine does such a good job of grounding the scene with her family talk and giving him the blessing to marry Judy. And now Ed has to be that stern dad, which I get. But I laughed at Tony again, saying he'd come back in a month and ask again. This situation got awkward real quick. Judy walks up, the ring is still out on the table, but at least she said yes, like she was very excited. I love that. I laughed at Father Gordon's line to Ed, "You look good for an old guy." Like that's funny to me. Like I thought that was great. Valid crash out by Dawn, but the whole either you don't believe us or you can't do anything about it. Like that was a little far. Like you ain't got to emasculate your poor dad like that. Damn. And speaking of poor dad, I know that feeling, brother. Sitting on the side of the bed, taking your glasses off, rubbing your eyes. That stress, man. Like I felt that. And again, I think the demon looks comical and levitating over the bed. Like it just didn't do anything for me. I just don't think it was that well done personally. Keep it 100. I don't think I'd keep it paused on that demon blowing my candle out this long. I started to get pretty terrified. I'm surprised you didn't like that scene. I can understand why you didn't like it, Brian, but I figured that'd be like the scene that kind of scared you, but I'm surprised by that. Farmer Demon looks hokey as hell. Like, how did James Wan, of all people, approve this? Last thing I got, even though this is probably historically accurate with the news reporting on the Smurls, this just feels like a retread of The Conjuring 2, but nowhere near as good right now.
My man is fired up that James Wan did not direct this movie.
Bro is bouncing on it for James Wan.
That's my horror. First of all, don't say it like that. Second of all, I've made it very clear he's my favorite horror director. Like, and this is the last of the franchise that he created. Like, he should direct it.
Yeah, I feel you.
Not just put his name on as a producer that probably didn't do anything.
Even if you don't direct it, like he's credited as one of the story writers, but like he didn't write the screenplay. Like he should have written the screenplay at least. Anyway, Judy and Lorraine go dress shopping, and as Judy is trying on a dress in a mirrored fitting room, she sees a reflection that doesn't match the rest of them and starts to freak out. Someone enters the dressing room, who she assumes is Brenda, the shop worker, but it turns out it's a rascally old lady demon. The lights go out, and she starts singing and yelling for Lorraine. The lights come back on, and one of her reflections reaches through the mirror and starts choking her. Lorraine comes to check on her, and we cut back to the Smurl house, where Father Gordon arrives as the grandmother is loaded into an ambulance after a fall down the stairs. Janet is thankful he's there, but Father Gordon informs her that the church didn't send him. He's there on his own. He starts to bless the house, and some of his holy water starts to sizzle in the basement. He rushes out to alert the church that something is there. He goes to see the bishop at the local diocese, and the secretary asks him to wait a moment. As she click-clacks on her typewriter and a custodian buffs the floor in the hallway, he gets a nosebleed, and suddenly the sounds stop and he's alone. The phone rings, and it's the grabber from the black phone. JK. It's Judy Warren, who tells him he can go. A doorknob turns, making the cross on it upside down, and the exit door slams shut as darkness encompasses the room. He pulls out a pocket crucifix, which catches fire, and then he calmly walks out of the room and hangs himself with the power cord of the floor buffer. We cut to Tony, who's helping Ed work on his motorcycle, and Ed decides it's time to show him his museum of devil artifacts. Ed tells him it's their life's work, and that they almost lost Judy when she was born. The tension is broken up by a crying Lorraine and Judy, and we cut to Father Gordon's funeral. Lorraine gives an emotional speech, and as they're leaving, Judy touches the casket and has sort of an out-of-body experience. As the Warrens are getting in their car, Father Ziegler tells them that Father Gordon always spoke highly of them, and Judy learns that Father Gordon died in Pennsylvania. At home, Lorraine is fiddling with the sink drain when she finds a locket in it, and suddenly the sink is filled with blood that overflows into the kitchen. Looked more like cranberry juice to me, but what are you going to do? She tells Ed something's wrong, and Judy and Tony show up at the front door. They travel over to Yinzer County, or country, where cops, press, and onlookers are gathered around the Smurl house. The family goes to retrieve Judy from the house, where Jack is excited to see them. Lorraine tells Judy that they need to go, but Judy tells them they don't run from fights, and that they need their help.
What a lovely room of death. So I think that this was my least favorite set of scenes here in the whole movie. Starting out with the funhouse mirror trope in the dressing room, I just feel like we've seen that too many times. Plus the best part of that is when the reflection bangs on the mirror. That was spoiled in the trailer, so it didn't even surprise me. So it was just all kind of blah for me personally. I also don't feel like I needed this side quest with, was it Father Gordon at all? Like, I liked him visiting the Smurls, how terrified he got in the basement with the steaming holy water, which, sidebar, what is the point of holy water then if it doesn't do anything at all? But I mean, it just tells you it's bad there because it starts boiling. Like, I thought it was supposed to be like a shield or something, I guess. I don't know. I don't know all my exorcism holy water rules. So, anyway. But I did like that part. But to me, just have him die in the basement. You know, first of all, I didn't really understand the whole thing with, is he at the parish? Is that what it's called? You said the word. I can't remember what he said. I'm calling it a parish. But I didn't understand what was real and what was not. And honestly, with the way it kept showing the cord of the buffing machine, I felt like I was watching a Final Destination movie. Like I was just waiting for some crazy sequence of events to kill him. But I don't know. None of it really made sense to me. Like the demon was there? Why? I mean, besides the Catholic Church being evil. Sorry. I had to get that jab in. But I guess the whole sequence, I don't know. I didn't like it at all. It still doesn't make sense to me. So this brought my score down for sure. Now, I thought it was a fantastic transition from Father Gordon's Hanging Body soundtrack to Ed and Tony in the Garage. And can I say something that made me laugh? Because it wasn't meant to be funny, but we all know I'm old because I watch movies with subtitles. Because I am an old man. But when they're at the funeral, the subtitles, I guess describing the soundtrack that I didn't hear, I don't know, but it said demonic exhale. And I was like, what the fuck? Then I got to thinking, I bet that's what the soundtrack of my life would say every time my son comes in the room and starts off a conversation with, Dad, don't get mad. Demonic exhale. Anyway, the last thing here, and I'll just end on a good note. I didn't like the build up to the garbage disposal because I thought, oh, great, here's another Final Destination movie or moment. But I did like the little swerve and the blood everywhere. I disagree. I felt like the blood looked great. Shout out to Hayden Sheridan, Paul Hamilton, the whole special effects team. Sheridan did Annihilation in 2018. Listen to our review of that. Episode 203, don'tgooutthere.com. Also, I think Judy's speech was very moving and touching here at the end of the set of scenes. So ends on a good note for me.
I didn't write it down about the blood, but I kind of agree with both of you. Like, I think there was like a moment, like when the locket first drops back into the water or into the blood, like it didn't look like, it looked like wine to me. But like when it came out of the sink and filled the house, I thought it looked pretty good. Like I think it had moments of looking good, but that's just me.
Looked like a vodka crayon. What'd you get your period? That's from The Departed, another Vera Farmiga movie. Nico.
I haven't seen that one. I've been told it's great, but I haven't seen
Elite.
Who is that? Scorsese?
Yes.
I'll watch it eventually. But anywho, I laughed at the dress shop worker asking Lorraine to read her future. Like, I know that ticked her off, low-key. Like, I don't do that kind of business. That's not how business is done. Ain't that right? But anywho, at this point, why isn't Judy Warren, of all people, more cautious and alert when it comes to weird or unusual happenings? Like, you've been living this shit your whole life. Why aren't you more like aware of what's going on? Beating a dead horse here, but the demon haunting her looks cheesy. Remember when we had Bathsheba? Good times. I do like that Father Gordon is more boots on the ground in this movie.
Never say that demons were good times, brother.
Also, never say their name on our show again.
What are you doing?
What, Valak and Bathsheba?
Stop it.
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
How much time you got, buddy?
I'm beeping it out.
Go ahead. Formulaic priest casting holy water scene, but I like it because it's my man Steve Coulter. Like, he's a great dude. I loved meeting him. He was super nice. My dog is definitely scared, though. He boot scooted out of this basement like an Attitude Era wrestler making a surprise entrance to save the day. He was getting the hell up out of there. Well, okay, then. The power cord goes tight, and the loud-ass typewriter lady just disappears. That can't be good for old Father G. But Father G, standing on business long as he could, he held onto that flaming cross for a good minute. And I can't wait to ask Steve about this, but I agree with you, Brian. Like, I don't know if you said this or not, but I'm not a fan of his death, honestly. Like, he should have survived the franchise. Like, and honestly, it really, like, I can appreciate that he wanted to help his family out, but why is he here? And, like, why is he doing this? Like, they could have left this part out. Genie in a Bottle, great tune from the late 90s. Shout out to all my fellow TRL listeners. I know they mentioned Genie in a Bottle, but all I could think about was Christina Aguilera and hearing that song and music video on TRL back in the day. Totally get where Ed is coming from. That's my little girl, and I'm protective over her. Treat my daughter right. Like, I get it. Nice aerial shot, but what was that scene with Lorraine finding the locket necessary, really? Like, just have Tony show up scared that she's missing. That would have been sufficient for me. We don't run from a fight. I thought that was a nice little callback that I appreciated from previous movies. I thought it was another okay set of scenes, but I'm just flabbergasted. We got another 50-plus minutes still. Not that I have pacing issues, but it's like we haven't even gotten to the Smurl family yet. We got 50 more minutes.
Enjoy the ride, brother. Ed gets his ghost busting bag from his trunk, and the Smurls tell them their story, and Judy tells Tony that something wants her to be there. The Warrens settle in, and Ed does his best Prince impression and makes some pancakes. He tells Tony that part of the job is to let the family know they're not alone, and we hear why Tony's not a cop anymore. He almost got shot in the face, but the loaded shotgun misfired. Yep, that'll do it. Lorraine and Judy are chatting by the stairs, and when they feel something, and Lorraine heads upstairs to check it out. Then in the basement, it goes red, and she has some strange feeling. She tells Ed there's 3 spirits: a wild woman who had an affair, shocker, her husband who went after her with an axe, and the woman's mom, and he killed both of them. She tells him that there's something else that's blocking her vision. Ed asks what it's waiting for, and we cut to Judy, who hears Lorraine's voice from upstairs. She heads up, and the ladder for the attic is down, so she climbs on up. She looks around and finds the mirror. The same mirror that we saw smashed by the trash compactor. A piece of chalk rolls out from of the shadows towards her, and she shines her flashlight on the ceiling where we see the words, "Miss me?" She says Annabelle, and a rocking chair and some other stuff start to move on their own. She understandably decides that it's time to go, but before she can get downstairs, she hears Karen's voice call to her, and in the bedroom, she sees the Annabelle doll, which comes to life and grows abnormally tall and starts coming after her. Judy falls down the stairs and tells her parents there's something in the attic. Ed and Lorraine cannot believe their eyes when they see the mirror, and Lorraine tells Ed that something is different, and the next set of scenes is the ending.
Dustin, I'm so glad you said that about Ghostbusters, because the very first thing I said in my notes was I was apologizing because I had another Ghostbuster reference, but you know what? I'm not sorry.
Yeah.
But Ed keeping his bag and gear in the trunk at all times felt like a Ghostbusters thing. Exactly. That was right there, like Ed was going to get his proton pack. Now, finally, getting this police story here from Tony and it not turning out to be anything bad, but instead it helps us like understand him more. And this is where I really went, he's not going to make it, is he? Shit. So, spoiler alert, I'm glad he does. But Dustin and I are ready for The Conjuring, The Next Generation, where they take over the family business. That movie's going to be fire. And dude, come on. The joke where Karen asks Judy if she likes dolls and she pauses and says, "Not really." That was great. It made me laugh. I loved it. And it was really the last light moment that we get the rest of the way, so I needed it. And I don't really have much for the rest of the set of scenes, just kind of setting up for that hell of a final act. But I have to say, it bothered me that these cats couldn't figure out that this thing is after Judy. I mean, I almost feel like maybe it could have been written to where, like, you know, we didn't know that it was the same demon from the start until they did, because it almost made them seem stupid to me in a way. So I don't know, but I'm ready to get to the ending.
Yeah, how does Lorraine not know this shit of all people? But anywho, good review talk here. But Jack Smurl, he looks just like Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. Coming soon from Ryan Murphy, I'm sure. Monster Gary Ridgway. Hey, this guy could do it probably. Laughed at Ed's stern look at Tony just for him to say, "Sometimes it's waffles." Like, dude, he is such a good fucking dad humor, like, in this movie. Like, he's great at it. Tony does a great job telling this police story to Ed. Like, I felt the emotion, the sincerity, love Ed's reaction to it as well. It actually choked me up a little bit. That was really nice. I like a sentimental story like that. Have to compliment the casting of grown-up Judy Warren, Mia Tomlinson. She looks so much like the younger version of herself from The Conjuring 2. Like, it looks very believable. If I'm Lorraine, I'm spooked with this bed. Nothing on it, but the springs are sinking down. Nah, I'll play it. I'm out. And did I miss it, or is this mirror just back in the house because of Annabelle or something? Like, how did this thing get back in there? Like, the last time we saw it, it was getting crushed in the damn trash compactor. Little girl's name is Karen, but being spelled Carin made me so irrationally more mad than it should have. It ticked me off so much. Like, don't add this kind of corny razzle-dazzle that I don't need. And then little Karen turned into giant Annabelle. Sorry, but I found that very corny, and I didn't love it at all. I thought it was just a mad set of scenes for the most part. Like, I'm with, like, I don't know if you like that set of scenes or not, Brian, but it wasn't my favorite.
Well, so you missed it, but in the background, the guy from Friday After Next, he had like the mirror in a sack, and he was bringing it back in the house, so you could barely see it in the background.
Ricky Smiley. So funny. I do think though
he was supposed to be Money Mike. I'm kidding.
I think they explained it just fine. Why the mirror is back inside when Tony asked Ed, like, why don't you just destroy it? And he says, sometimes they don't let you. So
No, I get that, but how did it? Like, what brought it back in there? Like, it just zoomed back in. Like, because they had to carry it into the house.
that's why I'm saying the devil getting beat in our March Madness bracket makes no sense. The devil works in some weird ways, man.
Hey, we need to go revisit the footage, because who picked the devil to lose?
Definitely
I think
not
I
me.
did.
It had to be Mike, because he doesn't believe in the devil, apparently.
Yeah.
I think I picked it just because I felt like it was too powerful. It would just win the whole thing. And so I like wanted him out. Well, I don't remember. I mean, I agree with your reasoning, but I think I picked him for that reason.
Gotcha. All right, guys, here's the ending.
Did you say Bathsheba?
Stop.
Oh, sorry.
What are you doing, man?
Here's the ending, and I will apologize in advance. I have a lot here. I didn't space this out well enough, apparently. But anyway, and I didn't want to break it into 7 sets of scene, because then that last one wouldn't have had much, so deal with it. A news van leaves from outside the Smurl house, and Ed tells the Smurls about the mirror. Lorraine tells them that the mirror wasn't done with either family. She tells the Smurls that it's a demon, and the first one that they encountered. Ed tells Tony that they're taking it home to their artifact room, and Oklahoma City must be playing the Sixers because the thunder starts to roll into town. Judy has fallen ill, and Lorraine says that she should have never let her stay. Ed is coaching up Jack and Tony, and it's go time. He ratchet straps a sheet over the mirror, and Tony goes to start the car while Jack and Ed carry it out. And the mirror starts getting heavier while the ratchet straps come undone. Tony's car predictably won't start, and Judy is worsening. The sheet flies off the mirror, and Jack wigs out. He drops the mirror and falls out of the attic, and then Ed drops his end of the mirror, narrowly missing Jack. Tony finally gets the car to start and practices his stunt driving for no freaking reason at all, and almost runs over a demon. He swerves off the road and hits a chain-link fence, which for some reason kills the car. Car's dead. Okay. We get a gnarly overhead shot moving us from the street back inside the Smurl house, where Judy is now sitting in a corner singing her little song, and she is full-blown demonic now. Call me weird, but that's when I liked her the most. I like that kind of crazy sometimes. She charges at Lorraine and knocks her down the stairs into the basement. She must be possessed by the spirit of Michael Vick, because her next target is the dog. She slams the dog. She slams the dog against the wall with the Force. That's a Star Wars reference, Nico. Next up is Ed, and she aggressively touches his chest, causing him to have a bit of a heart attack. Tony is trying to get back inside, and now the axe murderer's ghost is going after Lorraine in the basement. Tony gets there just in time, though, and Ed takes a heart pill. The Smurls leave the house, and Lorraine tells Ed the demons want Judy, who's hanging out in the attic now. Literally. Tony and Ed cut her down, and the three of them crash through the attic floor to the lower level. Ed performs CPR on Judy until Lorraine sees a demon in the mirror, and Ed has another heart episode. Tony is finally able to revive Judy, and now the mirror is like a Dua Lipa song, levitating. It spins round and round, and Ed tries to cast out the evil spirits. The mirror starts charging at them, trapping Tony underneath it. Ed keeps going with his exorcism, and Lorraine tells Judy not to look away or run. They start helping Ed push the mirror, and they prove Vin Diesel was right all along. Family is powerful. They win, and the demon is gone. We get some text on screen as they're leaving, telling us what happened to the Smurls after this. And my biggest issue with the whole movie is how Tony didn't even have a limp after his leg was almost ripped off by the mirror. At home, Ed gives Tony the keys to the artifact room and officially welcomes him to the family. Now, we could have ended here, but we keep the cameras rolling, and we get to see Tony and Judy's wedding. Now, that was a reference. Matt Damon was telling a story about The Departed and how Jack Nicholson said, you could end the scene here, but you keep the camera rolling. Sorry, that's very niche. It's funny, though. We see their wedding, complete with a James Wan cameo, as well as appearances from members of the Perron family, the Hodges family, and the Glatzel family, however you say that, who appeared in the first 3 Conjuring movies. The reception is lovely, and we get the story of the rest of the Warrens' lives to tie a bow on the franchise, hopefully. The end.
All right, yeah, hell of a final act of the Smurls house. Starting at the hour 45 mark, I kind of disagree with you, Nico, on this. I thought it was very intense for me. Like, my heart rate was elevated. I was 100% invested. I mean, there was a fantastic overhead shot at the hour 46 mark as well that I loved. Unlike some of the past movies with Ed and Lorraine, I 100% felt like Tony's life was in danger. So that totally worked for me. Again, I liked the full circle moment with Judy basically being told to not suppress anything anymore, but I kind of feel like that could have been played up a little more, I guess. I never really saw it throughout the movie with her suppressing her gift. It was almost like I saw it as her making them go away in her own head. I didn't really realize that she had the power to just make them go away, period. But I don't know, maybe that worked better for you guys. The rest of it I loved. Just kind of wrapping up the whole story with Vera, explaining the dream that she had of the future. And you mentioned about the Glatzel family and everybody who appeared at the wedding. So I loved it.
Not to hate on my girl Lorraine, but I swear she says something feels different for every one of these damn movies and cases. Like, you got to get a new line, Lorraine. Come on now. It's
also funny because Ed literally told Tony they're all different.
Yeah.
And so Lorraine's like, something's different.
I thought the same thing. It makes no sense to me that young, strong Tony is getting the car while Ed with the bad heart is carrying this heavy-ass mirror. What are we doing? We're losing recipes over here. You're not doing good for your future father-in-law. That ratchet strap came undone, and I can't believe Brian didn't say it because no one grabbed it and said, that ain't going anywhere. Like, come on, man. Like, I'll be the dad joke over here. Jack is more unclutched in post-2023 Mike Norvell, got scared, dropped the mirror, falls down the ladder. Unreal. Like, this guy has no clutch gene. No clue how this super heavy mirror didn't completely sever his leg either. Like, that thing, they just talked about how heavy it was, and it falls right on his leg. Give me a break. Tony, unclutched as well, crashed the car after seeing the goofy-ass looking demon in the street. Come on, man. You used to be a cop? Come on, brother. Demon Judy running at Lorraine. Sorry, but it just didn't do it for me. And there's no way in hell that Jack is able to walk and help carry this mirror now. Like, to me, this ending part is really where it starts to lose me a lot. This movie is breaking one of my biggest rules, and it's like questioning the audience's intelligence. Like, come on, like, his leg should be broken at minimum right now. Watching Lorraine Warren back away from this Marilyn Manson-looking farmer pissed me off. Like, I remember her standing on business with Valak, and now we get this. Like, I'm not happy about it. Still very annoyed seeing Jack walking as well as he is. Like, give me a break. This scene with Judy seemingly dead, like, it should resonate more with me, but it just feels too predictable she's going to survive. Like, I'm not feeling, like, scared that anything's going to happen to her. Like, we know they're not going to kill Ed and Lorraine off right now, and we know Judy is going to live too because we know about the wedding. This wedding scene, it popped me in the theater. I wasn't expecting to see James Wan, the Hodgkin family, Perrin family, so that was cool. I didn't even write down the Part 3 family because I haven't watched that movie since we reviewed it. I'm not a fan. Like, even though it didn't happen in real life, I thought it was nice fan service. Nice little sentimental ending with the Warren couple living out their retired life and being grandparents. I just thought it was just an okay entry in the Conjuring franchise. Not overly terrible like a lot of other horror franchises. But, after 1 and especially 2, I just hold them to too high of a standard, I guess.
So, this is uncharted territory because I think I'm remembering something from our instant reaction. I thought that you disliked seeing the families at the wedding.
Hey, man, things change.
Okay, so you did.
I like the Ed and Lorraine and Warren stuff more on the rewatch.
Okay, but I thought you mentioned in particular that you thought it was corny that they were, there, that the families they helped were there. And I was prepared. I was going to hit you with it. No, that's very believable. If someone saves my life from a demon, I'm going to go to their kid's wedding. But
what would the demon's name be? Bathsheba?
No, it's definitely a female's name. Probably Brittany, Megan, Morgan, Emily, just to name a few.
Any particular reason those names?
They just seem demonic to me.
Fair enough. All right, let's jump into our social media comments and questions. I'll knock out Instagram first. Miami Flavors commented, "This movie was more sentimental than scary, LOL. It wasn't bad, but was my least favorite in the franchise." And she said she did like the whole gang getting back together at the end for the wedding. APZ84 commented, "My Letterboxd review, if you want to read it. Story time that made my experience miserable. I had to sit directly next to a large man that smelled of pee and mildew simultaneously. Ugh. Like he hadn't showered for at least a week. Every 2 minutes I was getting a whiff of his stench with the throw up emoji. If that wasn't bad enough, he was talking to his daughter throughout the movie and making random comments. The longest 2 hours and 15 minutes of my life. The movie wasn't awful unless I'm just numb to scary these days. It wasn't scary at all. The last 30 to 45 minutes were good. Nice wrap up of the Warren story at the end. The worst Conjuring movie, in my opinion. Whew.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Damn.
I will say that is a horrible theater experience. That brother might have been on meth. That might have been meth that you're smelling. But also, I think my experience from the theater this past weekend tops it. So if anyone wants to hear that wild story, DM me on Twitter, and I'll tell you about it.
And the last thing we got is from ZGNA2. How would y'all rate this one compared to the others in the series? To me, it's third best.
Yeah.
Same. I would put
Same.
But if you ask Brian, though, it's still a high. Just because it's third doesn't mean it's not highly rated. There ain't nothing wrong with bronze.
That's right.
Unless it's LeBron's. You heard me?
Yep.
That was good.
We did get one on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. It comes from Casey Smith, Death Curse Casey. Cool name. He said, "Hey guys, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Thought it was a step up from 3. Did a good job of tickling the old nostalgia nerve. It's pretty wild to think about how long we've been following these characters, and I felt like it was a pretty solid ending, 7 out of 10. I definitely agree. It was a nice bow tied on it, and it is crazy to think about how long we've been with the Warrens."
I can't wait for you to read this one, though. Our guys.
Okay, so I have not vetted it, so I have not read it yet.
Let's go.
Matthew Heffer. Hello to you all. It's been a while, but I have returned. My life took a strange turn recently involving a Ouija board I bought from Temu. Yep, that'll teach you, brother. The spirit of Chairman Mao, and having to watch the film The Notebook dozens of times.
Oh.
Anyway, I had to say that I was let down by this film. The first was, and still is, a perfect blueprint of a haunted house film. The second was almost as good, but the third, watchable, but not really as fun or enjoyable. This one I like to call the Blade Trinity of the series. That's unfair, man.
Yeah.
It's the one in the box set that you have to have, but you don't want to acknowledge. Just like Halloween Ends. It is not comparable. It's like a script was written about the Warren family, and then at the last minute, somebody stood up and said, "Shit, we forgot to put in a ghost story." If this is the last one, because I don't think it made much of the box office, did it? Then it went out on a whimper. This film is exactly the same as when I would have had sex with my ex-wife. The build-up was the best part, but when you're finished, you just want to cry and ask, "Can I have my memory back?" Until then, next time, stay safe. All the best from jolly old England. Jesus Christ.
I felt that last part, but I got to
Welcome
disagree on
back,
some
brother.
others.
Agreed. Welcome back.
I love that guy. He's so damn funny. You guys got any fun facts you want to share? I got the budget pulled up if y'all want me to read that, unless you got it, Dustin or Brian.
I don't.
Go for it. I do have a couple fun facts, though. The story of the Smurl family's alleged haunting was dramatized in the TV movie The Haunted, 1991. This one is tied in with the budget, so I'll let you have the budget. I'll leave out the numbers, but this is the biggest opening for a horror film, surpassing It, Chapter 1, 2017. So it did make quite a bit of money. And the last one I've got, Steve Coulter was in Kill the Messenger with the late, great Ray Liotta, who was in Muppets from Space with David Arquette. Shout out to Muppets. Jim Henson, GOAT.
Okay, I'll do the old budget. Estimated, this is according to the Internet Movie Database, also known as IMDb. The budget is an estimated $55 million, and gross worldwide, it made a lot of money. $494 million. 53,512. A lot of money. A lot of money.
So I'm conflicted when I hear that. Because number one, yes, I love people are going to support cinema. And number two, I didn't think this was a bad movie. So yeah, go support it. But at the same time, it's sequels like this that someone will see the box office and be like, oh, we need another Jack Mehoff Part 7. Like, come on. Not every franchise needs a million movies just because this one puts out decent ones.
Conjuring, the next generation. Let's do it.
Too Conjuring, too furious.
All right, let's jump into our favorite kill, least favorite kill in the rating. Dustin, you want to kick us off so you can jot our scores down?
Yeah, favorite kill was none of them because I think we only had one, which is my least favorite kill, Father Gordon. Like, dang, man. Steve Coulter, legend. One of the best characters in this franchise. Like, he just seems like such a likable guy. And he went out sad because everyone, at least last we heard, everyone thought that he was just a sad man who was suppressing his sadness and killed himself. That's sad. As far as my rating and final thoughts, like I said, I like this movie more than most online. Now, after hearing you guys talk, my score may be lower. It's definitely lower than Brian's. It may be lower than Nico's at this point. But I thought it was a good bow tied on the franchise. Like, we've been along for the ride with the Warren family for 3 movies now without really knowing much about them or much about what the rest of their lives look like. So I like that they focused on them and then showed that while they're trying to, it's like Al Pacino in The Godfather 3. When he tries to get out, they keep pulling him back in. So I thought that this was a good way to wrap it up. And if they want to pass the torch and do prequels with the younger actors, I think they casted them both well. Or if they want to, completely go in a different direction and say that Tony and Judy took over the family business, I'm fine with that too, because I like them. I like both of those actors and characters. And this franchise, when I say this franchise, I don't mean this universe, because some of the other movies aren't that great. But this franchise, The Conjuring, aside from Part 3, it's all been pretty solid. All that to be said to tell you that I gave it a 6 3/4, 6.75.
Conjuring Frozen Empire is going to be great.
Conjuring, The Valak Strikes Back.
The Conjuring, a Pakistani named Natas.
That was great. That was a great twist.
I still remember that, Brian. I don't know why that was so damn funny to me, but a Pakistani named Natas was so funny to me. But anywho, favorite. I don't have a favorite kill either. Least favorite kill. Father Gordon, man, what the heck? We killed off Steve Coulter, the nicest dude one of the nicest I've ever met. Like they could have left that out. Like why? I just didn't care for that. I've kind of made myself clear how I feel about the film. Like there are a lot of aspects I do like. Love the Ed and Lorraine stuff. Meeting Judy and Tony. I think they did such a great job. Love Tony as a character. Just didn't care for the actual Conjuring parts of it. And I'm gonna harp on it again. I guess gonna bounce on it one more time. James Wan should have directed it. I give the movie a 6.5.
Yeah. All right, my favorite kill was Father Gordon because fuck Steve Coulter, man. That guy's a dick. I'm just kidding. Totally. Just kidding. Totally kidding. I really liked it a lot. A few nitpicks though, but great ending in my opinion. I don't think anybody said. I really think James Wan should have directed it though. I mean, just my opinion. 8.75 for me.
Nice.
Okay, that gives us a composite score of 7. IMDb has it at a 6.2, Letterboxd 2.8, Rotten Tomatoes 58%. So it's cooling, but the box office doesn't reflect it. So I think people are gonna go watch it if they make another one. They just might type angrily online afterwards.
What's new?
Yeah, honestly. All right, guys. Any final thoughts before I just shout out our blood donors, and then I'll announce Mike's pick for him next week? I know you two are especially excited for this one.
Yeah.
Shout out all of our blood donors. Really appreciate y'all. You take a huge burden off us. I can't stress that enough. Like, none of this money that you donate to us goes in our pockets. It just goes directly back into the podcast. So we appreciate it sincerely. Camper level reoccurring, Nina, Michelle Mirza, Steve Schmidt, Matt from the UK. Good to hear from you again tonight. And Anthony Andrews. Camp Council reoccurring, Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davis, Me Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, Max K, Amanda Pettiford, and Death Curse Casey. Really appreciate y'all. Next week, we will be taking on the third entry in Dustin and Brian's favorite new franchise, Terrifier 3.
Go to hell.
Are you too excited? Whoa.
Fuck Mike.
Don't you ever say this is my favorite anything. Favorite
franchise to hate on?
Not even that. I'd rather hate something that's just like Fast and Furious. I watch everyone's. I own all those movies. Most of them suck, except for the first 2. I think. Part 10 was actually kind of fun. This franchise, though, Damien Leone needs to be banned. He needs to be blacklisted.
Oh, go ahead and take him off the calendar. We're never getting him on the show.
Good.
I remember liking Fast 5. Was Fast Five good? I remember seeing
Fast
it in
Five
theaters.
was
I thought it was
Fast
good.
Five was great. That's my favorite one
But
besides
starting
OG.
in 4 is when the franchise shifted from street racing to now we're doing heists and all kinds of crazy stuff. So while 4 and 5 they're not bad movies, I consider them bad in the grand scheme of things because that's when
We're losing recipes.
that was the first domino that fell that led us to them driving a freaking Honda to space or Toyota. I can't remember what kind of car it was. But they drove a car to space.
They drove a car
Yeah.
to space? Are you serious?
Yes. In part 8.
Yeah.
Or part 9. Part 9.
I was about to say they went full
9.
Friday the 13th, part 8.
Yeah, it's part 9.
Oh, fuck. Jason X is not 8. What the fuck am I thinking?
It's 10.
Yes, it's 10 in Roman numerals.
I just started thinking of Jason Takes Manhattan. But anywho, final thoughts, guys, before we get out of here. Terrifier 3 next week. I know y'all are excited.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody.